All right, so this is what we did last time. And in this video, we're going to quickly unwrap this chair. Um, and let's go ahead and go to layout mode, select these elements, or if you have all of your chair in one um, collection like I do, you could do it that way. And what I might do is just kind of move this off to the side. And it looks like I've got this extra piece here too that got to. I'm also going to delete this floor that we used in the previous example. And that way I could just focus on my chair out here. All right, so let's go ahead and unwrap maybe this arm piece here. Just kind of further tweak this a little bit. Looks like that was deleted. Let's move that over and maybe shift this over. And honestly, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to delete these four down here, and I'm going to do what I was saying before, where I just kind of go to edit mode. Oops. There we go. Select these verts. I'm in X-ray mode to make it so I could select those back ones. Otherwise, if I select it, it's not going to grab the back verts. I'm just going to pull this way down. And let me just make sure that it hits that green line. That means then tab object mode, Shift D, G, and then I'll just go Y across. Let me delete this. I'll place this here. All right. So let me unwrap this first one, and then we'll just have to duplicate it a bunch to, and then I'll show you the trick. Okay, so let's go ahead and hit Shift H. Oops, I hit Alt H, I think. Yeah, Shift H, that's right. And just to focus on just this guy here, and then let's frame select on this. Let's take a look at how we could unwrap this. So I'm going to go to UV editing here. And it came pretty well unwrapped as it is, but I'm going to show you how to do this from scratch. So I'm going to go ahead and hit A to select all of these pieces. So I'm going to hit 3 to face mode, hit A to select all, then hit U, and then unwrap angle based. And it's okay. What it did is it just kind of stacked everything on top of each other here. So I'm going to show you how to cleanly unwrap this. So what we want to do is mark some seams for where we want it to cut. So I'm going to hit 2, hold Alt and Shift, and then click that. 2 is the edge mode. And then I'm going to hit right click and I'm going to hit mark seam. And now you can see there's a clear line there where there's a seam is. So if I hit A and then U and unwrap angle based, and let's see if I hit enter here. Looks like it isn't. It's got some scale issues. If this happens to you where you're like trying to do this and it just doesn't, it doesn't do what it's supposed to. Let's try this again. We have to go to layout and then select this and just kind of clear the transform. So I'm gonna hit Control A here, all transforms, and that cleans it out. So let's try that one more time. Go to UV editing mode and one more time. And then right click, mark seam. And then let's see if that works. I'll show you another trick if this doesn't work. So you could just hit 3, select just this face. Oh no, it did unwrap it, it's down here. It just was super small. Okay, so let's do that to the bottom. And actually, I think we deleted the bottoms off. We didn't need them. But I'm actually going to refill the bottom because we're going to be using it in other places. So I'm going to click on that, hit F to fill it. And then what I could do is hit 3. And then what you can also do is hit U and just do unwrap angle base. And that'll unwrap that. Now, the reason why this is stacking on top of each other is we need a seam to tell it where we want to pull it apart. Like, so if we add a cut here, it'll unwrap it from that edge. So I'm going to hit 2 to go to edge mode. Just select that, right click, and then mark seam, and then hit L on this, and that'll select that, or hit Option Z. Make sure we're in face mode. Select all of those little dots that are in the middle there. U, unwrap angle base, and it'll take into account that edge. So for example, if I hit 2 here and I select this edge, you could see it's selecting that edge, right? Just for clarity. If I select the edge next to it, and then this edge next to it, you can see this is the edge that goes on the 2 sides. You see that? And it looks like we lost something here. Let's try this one more time. Let's select that bottom piece. U, unwrap angle base. There we go. And hit S to scale that down. Now, what I tend to do, I'm just going to stack these. This one I really don't need that much space for, but I'm just going to put them really close to this. And I'm going to place this outside here, like over here somewhere, because I'm going to actually combine this in a moment to our chair. So hit Alt-H to unhide everything. And then what I'm going to do is just delete this, grab this, Shift-D, G, Y, move it over. Because it's already unwrapped. Select both of these. Let me delete these two here. Select these two. Shift-D to duplicate, G. And then I want to do, X here. So just hitting X. So it looks like our transform is off. We can go to Object, Set Origin, Origin to Geometry so that it's in between those two. So Object, Set Origin to Geometry. And then again, G, X, right? And that'll move it forward. Now those are really huge. So with both of them selected, I'm going to hit Tab, go to Edit Mode. Again, make sure X-ray mode is on. Press 1. Select both of these and just move them down here. Now the problem with this is the unwrap isn't exactly correct, right? So I'm going to go to Object Mode here. Select those two and these. Go back to UV editing, right? And what I can do is I can modify these. So this one, if I hit L on this, so I'm going to go to face mode, hit L to select all of these. And you want to click on those little black dots like that. And I want to grab my move tool. I just want to shift that over. So they're stacked next to each other. See that? So these two are now right next to each other. They're not on top of each other. Unless you want them all to be the same, then that's fine. You're going to paint them a flat color. That'll save a lot of space. Same thing here. I'm going to hit L. Let me click off of that on this. L on this. And I'm just going over those little dots. And if I move those over, you can see these two are stacked on top of each other. Let's say we want to keep those the same. I don't know. It's really up to you. But that's all unwrapped. And then what I could do is go back to layout here. Select that. Shift-D. And then I'm going to go Y, 90. And where did it move that to? Let me do that. Oh, it's all the way over there. Let me delete that. Let me try that again. So, Object, Set Origin, because sometimes this messes it up too. Origin to Geometry. There we go. Then Shift-D. And then X, or we're going to do Y rather. R to rotate, and then 90 degrees. And then I could delete this one and this one. Just place this. And again, we've already unwrapped this once, so we don't have to do that again. We could just tweak the scale, and that looks pretty fine. Shift-D. And then we want to do Y again. And then G. Just move that over. And then if it depends on you, right? Like if you want these to be different designs, when we go into our UV editor there, we can just, highlight this whole thing, move this over. If I highlight, now these are separate, right? And I can move these over a little bit more. And that way, when we go to combine our entire chair here, so I'm going to select all of this, with the exception of this one, because this is the one we're going to be doing our sculpting demo. And I'm going to hit Control-J. And now what you can do is, with this whole chair, we're going to rename this. Again, we want to set our origin to geometry. And really, you want it to be on the bottom so that you can move when you move it around inside of Unreal. And we'll hopefully, I'll remember to tackle that later. But you can see here's our chair. So I'll just name this chair. And if we go to UV editing mode, you can see we need all of those UVs in this box. So what I can do is just kind of grab each one, maybe these two, bring them in here, hit S to scale down. And I just want to fit them neatly inside this box. And then these are the two arm things in the front. So I do want them to be something like that. So I'll just kind of place them a little bit smaller up here. And I might scale these down even more. And I'll just, because we're going to do a sculpt of that cushion in the next video. Let's see, what am I missing here? Oh, there's these guys out here. And I'll just place these up here. I'll scale them down, hitting S. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to make this chair your final project. I was going to make the whole thing finished your final project, but I feel like for 1 week, doing a sculpt and a texture and a paint, like this kind of comes together, everything that you learned. And I hope you're seeing that like a house is really no different than a chair, right? Like except for maybe the tile texture part. And you could use tile textures for the cushions and stuff. But imagine what I tell people is when they're modeling their first house, make a dollhouse. That takes away a lot of the anxiety of it. So this area here is going to be a really big area where I put the cushion. So let's go ahead and save this, our level. And now we have this thing here. And then what I want to do is in object mode is I want to select this, go to this. I want to get rid of this top part so that everything has that chair texture on it. And so you can go into texture paint now and you have everything there you need, right? So let's go to, let me hit the frame. So we're framing. Now if I paint across this, you can see, honestly, I should have cut the seam back here because now it's kind of being weird, like if I paint here. But because it's unwrapped, right, you can see we could paint across our whole chair, which is kind of cool. Whatever I do on this one duplicates that one because we left those on top of each other. So I think that's good for this video. In the next video, and make sure to save your texture too if you want to keep it, I'm going to keep it like that because I might do, after we sculpt this, I'm going to kind of do an advanced version of this. But anyway, yeah, in the next video, what I'll do is we'll start focusing on making that pillow with some sculpts.